Hello, and welcome back to Weekend Cartoon Reviews. This time, we're reviewing Lupin the Third, the movie, The Immortal Bloodline. You all wanted me to review this one, so I'm sticking to my word on that. Anyway, the studio behind this movie is known as Telecom Animation Film. I looked at their catalog and I'm not familiar with a lot of their stuff. But they've animated Nagatoro, which I haven't seen yet, and Blue Box, which is a very good show. I can't comment much on their track record because of this reason. However, they are no stranger to Lupin the Third, it seems. Lupin the Third is a very well-known property. It is an old anime and it's episodic as well. From what I know, it's about a thief named Lupin who goes on adventures to steal various artifacts that are valuable and has to run away from the law. That's the gist of what I got. I'm sure there's more to it. The only Lupin the Third thing I've watched outside of this movie in particular is the CGI film known as Lupin the Third, the First. And that was a really fun movie. Other than that movie, I have no experience with Lupin the Third as an IP. I also saw that movie back in 2021 when it was re-released in theaters, so it has been a while since I've seen anything related to Lupin the Third. That being said, what did I think of this movie? That was a really fun time, honestly. Yeah, as someone who doesn't consume Lupin content on the regular, but is somewhat familiar with the property, I can say this film was a crazy ride from start to finish. The story follows Lupin and his gang in which they get invited to an unknown island by a guy who's immortal. They soon realize that the reason they were invited to the island was for them to die, and so they must find a way to escape before Lupin's legacy as a thief is destroyed. In a sense, this reminded me of Attack on Titan a little bit. Obviously, this movie isn't as dark as Attack on Titan, but I meant this in a way where their situation seems really hopeless. And you're just wondering how the characters are going to get out of this. The island is controlled by a guy who's immortal and can't be killed. There's blood everywhere, there's poisonous gas. They're really stuck in this one. It's a movie, and usually the good guys win. But was it possible that they were all going to die? I kept thinking about how they were gonna get out of this, and every solution I thought of just got quashed. Because yeah, they're stuck! And they really emphasize that in the movie. The story is paced really well, too. There is a part of it that wasn't so paced very well, but I'll talk more about that when I talk about my problems with this movie. It really surprised me, though, how hopeless they made this situation. It was fun watching to see how they were going to escape. Because quite frankly, again, I couldn't figure it out. And usually I'm good at this kind of stuff. The animation was really good, too. I did expect a bit more action than there actually was in the movie. That's not a knock at it at all. The character interactions are still really solid, and the movie takes a lot of twists and turns that I won't spoil here. Unlike the last Lupin film I saw, this one's hand-drawn, and it really popped on the big screen. It had a unique style to it. It's slightly different from what I'm used to when I watch anime on the big screen. That could be also said about another film I actually saw last night. But anyway, the voice acting was really solid. For the characters that are meant to be the protagonists, they all fit the characters. For the villains, they do a really good job at making them creepy. They managed to make a character who's a young girl intimidating, and I don't know how they achieved that. But they did. The soundtrack as well, especially in the opening, really gets you into the film and gets you engaged for the ride you're about to go on. The film does a good job at displaying morality, and that not everything's as black and white as it may seem. Most things aren't cut and dry, and that's the truth about reality, and the film really displays that too. It really dissects Lupin as a character in that regard. Despite him being a thief, he's an entertaining character, and he has morals. Supposedly, this is the 5th film in a Lupin the Third film series. I don't know much about that, or didn't know about that really, but luckily nothing in it confused me. The film seems to be doing well with critics, and I agree that it's a good film. The only things I really criticize are the following. At the start, they show the backstory and lore behind the Lupin the Third series, and I thought it was a bit too long. I get they do it for newcomers like myself, but even then, I thought it was too much in a movie that was only 90 minutes long. I also was a little lost at parts during the movie, like some of the twists. Like I said earlier, I won't spoil, and it's honestly likely just a me thing. Even though I got the movie quite well. Overall, though, I'd recommend this film. As someone who isn't extremely familiar with the franchise, it was a fun time. I don't know what actual fans of the property think of this movie, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, that's really it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next review. Bye everyone, and have a great day.